Alright, so looking at my book, I'm making this video for another YouTuber. We were talking online on a video that I uploaded a while back ago on the movie this book came from. Now this is a prop from the movie The Ninth Gate, and this is the 9 Gates of the Kingdom of Shadows, is what this book is supposed to be. Now this book is closely resembles the Boris Vulcan version as far as I can figure out. Now I'll have to go back into the movie and really do some more research to figure it out exactly. But so I'm going to show you the engravings, and we'll start off by, there should be LuLu books made this book before they made the 3 different versions. Now in the other versions, if you had the books from the movies, there's 3 engravings. I think also spacem0nkey, I'll have to go back and look too. I think you were correct about there's 3 engravings per book that have LCF on them, and the other ones don't. And that way, because in the movie, the last engraving in the back would be the one, where's it at? It's right here. The last one in the back, which is the engraving here, which is the girl, you know, with the, remember this engraving was the one they found on the bookshelf in the end of the movie, right? So this engraving is wrong anyway in my book. That's why I think that my book is the Boris Vulcan version. But the one weird thing about my book is, if that's the case, which I think is you're only supposed to have 3 engravings, my book has 5 engravings with LCF. So even my book is misprinted. And I'll have to figure out which one my book would most likely resemble. What I think they ended up doing when they remade these books, because you're missing, you're missing engravings 2, 4, and 5. I have all the engravings here. But I think what they did was they probably just took out some engravings in each book and then made those other books. I don't know. We'd have to find somebody that has another copy of one of the other books, but from LuLu after they reprinted them. But so this engraving in the back of mine is completely incorrect. That's why I think this is the Boris Vulcan version. I'll have to go back and look though, because in that movie, this is completely wrong, because this should be the LCF version, because in the movie the LCF version here is the one with the stars, with the sky in the background. So it's the starburst, intense light, you know, coming into the thing, and the AT version was the one that was on fire as far as I remember. So that means this is wrong, because this is the AT version. You can see right there. So it says AT clearly. There's no fire. So if it's AT, then there would be flames. So this is incorrect. That's not the right one. So in the real one, this is obviously a misprint of sorts. But so let's flip back to the back. Another thing I noticed was if you look at all of the engravings, like say here's an engraving, this one. If you flip back 2 pages, this is the beginning of that chapter, right? So chapter, 2, like 1 full page, and then the engraving. That's the way it is all the way through the book, except for in the very first part of the book. After you see the very first engraving, the second engraving, which is here, which is the old man, if you flip back, that's the beginning of the chapter. So it's like 1 page, which is very weird. Like it's completely off from the complete rest of the book. Is you have this page, 1 page in between, and then the engraving, which is very interesting. So let's go from the beginning really quick, and let's go back up on my engraving list here, because I have all this stuff My version, the very first one, is the LCF version, which would be the Lucifer version, and it's right there. It says LCF right there. Boom. And it's correct because it does have the three, LCF version would have the 3 towers, and it does have 3 towers, so that is correct in this version. Moving on to the next one, which is the Old Man. And on my book, the Old Man, this is the LCF version, which it says right there, LCF. So that's this one, and this is a correct, the correct imagery for the book from the movie, because the hermit has the keys in his left hand. That LCF version, so the keys are correctly in his left hand. So that version, this is correct. So moving on, let's go to the next one. So this is the AT version for the next one. This is AT right there, and it's correct because it doesn't have the third arrow pointing upwards, which would be the one that had the LCF would have the other arrow here, which is pretty interesting, and inside the case there, whatever you call it. So that was pretty interesting. And let's see, the next one is the maze. This is the LCF version, so it says LCF there, and this was correct because the door's not closed on this one, so that's correct. Although we have a lot more versions that have LCF on them, and even the end, where the end of the book is incorrect, because this is the LCF version too. Here you can see it says LCF right there. See if I can get it clear. There you go, LCF, and there you go. It's a guy with the let's see, where are we at here in the book. So the sand is run out, so it's like the Grim Reaper, the sand's run out, and that's the correct version for LCF if you go back through the actual prints from the movie. The next one on my book is another one that has the LCF. I marked them with page markers going through this, and there it is right there. So it says LCF on this engraving, and it's correct because the chessboard is all white. So a white chessboard imagery is pretty much the way it should look. So yeah. Next one is the AT version here, and that is where's it at? That's right there. So there's AT, and that's correct because he doesn't have the halo. The LCF version would have the halo around his head, and yeah, it doesn't have it. So correct for the movie. And then going back, that's the last one, and that's the one I showed you at first that was incorrect, because this would be the LCF version and it says AT on it. So in my book, that's incorrect. So that's why I think, as far as I know, there should only be 3 engravings with LCF, but there are 5 in this book, which does make it, I think, a misprint also. But I'll have to go back to the movie and look, because I'm not sure. I think it's only 3 engravings per book, because in the movie, that last engraving, remember the last engraving, the girl, that was the one that was on the top of the shelf that they found. So that was the one that was the LCF version. So I think in all the books this was incorrect. But the weird thing is, like, it's correct in here, but it's labeled wrong. That's so weird. But yeah, so interestingly enough, there you go. Definitely show me any scans you have, and I might scan all the images and send them to you just so you can look at them and see if your images are correct. I also will put below a link to all the scanned images from from a WordPress a guy made about the book, where you could go through and look at the engravings and see which ones were right and wrong. So that's pretty much all I got. Hope that helps. It's pretty interesting. I'm sorry to upload this for the other guys that weren't really interested and never saw the movie. But yeah, it's an interesting book. The movie was really cool. And I bought it just as a table piece, kind of, because it was like, the book to bring the devil. It's laminated. But I bought mine before they made the 3 versions, and now they have 3 versions. They're like $40 a piece. So I don't know if I'm going to buy the other ones just to figure out if they're all misprinted or not, but it's pretty interesting. And then they have a journal version, which is something you can write in, but, whatever. All right, well, you guys take it easy. Peace out, and definitely let me know what you find out about yours, Mr. Space Monkey. I will put your link below so that people can find your channel. Take a look, and yeah, pretty interesting. I'm interested to see if any of your engravings are misprints, and I still think that maybe they took the engravings out of this version of the book. Maybe your version is exactly like this, except for you're missing those specific engravings, and they just put those in other books or something. I don't know, but who knows? I mean, maybe they're all misprints. You take it easy. Peace.